An exciting new addition for the Riverside Discovery Center. KNEB.TV News starts right now.
From your trusted source for news in western Nebraska and eastern Wyoming, this is KNEB.TV News. Presented by Platte Valley Companies, premier provider of financial services.
Hello, I'm Ryan Murphy. This is KNEB.TV News powered by Platte Valley Companies. Thanks for joining me. And our top story, officials with the Riverside Discovery Center say they're ecstatic to announce the addition of a 900-pound Siberian mixed tiger to their collection. The 6 to 8-year-old male tiger was rescued from a zoo in Wisconsin that had closed, and following his arrival on November 1st, he's undergoing a 30-day quarantine period to assess his health and allow him to acclimate to his holding area and his caregivers. RDC Board President Tiffany Shank said the staff is excited for the addition of the tiger, and they have worked tirelessly to make it possible for the big cat to make RDC its home. The zookeepers who have been working with the tiger since his arrival are encouraged by how well he is settling in, and staff has been working on carnivore complex renovations, including updates to the outdoor holding area the new arrival will be using. Well, hopes of an early start to the extensive repairs needed to the southbound span of the 10th Street Broadway River Bridge have been dashed. Scottsbluff County Road Superintendent Steve Baird told the board this week that the closure of the span to begin the repair work, which had been set to take place this past Monday, is now pushed out to after Thanksgiving. Baird explained the company subcontracted to provide traffic control for the project had advised they encountered issues that would delay their work until after the holiday. Once construction begins, the bridge work is scheduled to take 210 construction days, which Baird had said would likely mean a closure of that span approaching up to a full calendar year. And an 18-year-old Gering woman has followed her brother's lead by pleading no contest for her role in a violent assault last year that hospitalized a victim. Yesenia Domingo and her older brother Annabelle were arrested on assault charges following the attack, and last month in district court she pleaded no contest to an amended charge of third-degree assault causing injury. She'll be back in court in January for sentencing. Her brother, Annabelle Domingo, has already been sentenced to 3 to 5 years in prison for his role in that attack. We'll have more news right after this.
Looking for free instead of fees? Platte Valley Bank can help you keep your finances moving forward with no ATM fees. Whether you're headed to the lake, the mountains, or just to the grocery store, you can enjoy the freedom of free ATM access anywhere, anytime. Platte Valley Bank. You belong here.
When it comes to your health, you deserve the very best. At Morrill County Community Hospital, they provide top-notch care with compassion and expertise. From routine checkups to advanced surgeries, their dedicated team is here for you 24/7. With state-of-the-art technology and a patient-first approach, they ensure you and your loved ones receive the highest quality care. Because at Morrill County Community Hospital, your health is their priority. Visit Morrill County Community Hospital today in Bridgeport. Morrill County Community Hospital. Exceptional care right here at home.
Welcome back. Wyoming Governor Mark Gordon released a supplemental budget proposal he says limits ongoing spending, reflecting the true biennial budget he signed in March. The governor's budget proposal includes only $6.5 million in ongoing expenditures, much of it the result of inflation, plus another $220 million in one-time spending. During yesterday's news conference, Gordon says it's truly a pragmatic spending document.
The recommendations included in this supplemental are designed to control our operational budget while appropriately responding to emergencies as well as unforeseen circumstances that require immediate attention.
Of the $220 million, $140 million is tied to wildland firefighting efforts, some of which is to replenish the emergency fire account and for efforts to restore areas burned by a historic wildfire season this year. And the city of Gordon is the only Panhandle location to receive funding in the latest round of community development block grants announced by the Department of Economic Development. The Sheridan County community will receive $335,000 through the 2024 CDBG program for downtown revitalization that will be used to implement a rehabilitation project in the downtown business district. In total, NDED recently awarded more than $8.3 million to grants to 23 projects in 18 communities. NDED Director Casey Beelich said for the state to grow, it's critically important to invest in projects that enhance the attractiveness of our communities.
Welcome to Kelly's Liquor, your liquor cabinet. Whether you're a wine enthusiast, a whiskey sommelier, a tequila connoisseur, or you just love your beer, Kelly's has the best selection of what you're looking for. Family owned and operated since 1946 and right on 27th Street in Scottsbluff. Come see us today at Kelly's Liquor, your liquor cabinet. And remember to be a good neighbor. Don't drink and drive. Kelly's Liquor, West 27th Street in Scottsbluff.
Fly United Airlines, operated by SkyWest with Western Nebraska Regional Airport. United is dedicated to going the extra mile for you with daily flights to and from Denver, along with a commitment to excellent service. Reserve your flight today, and remember, United miles can be earned and redeemed with your flights. While at the airport, stop and enjoy authentic Italian food at Roma Italian Restaurant. Plus, Hertz Thrifty Car Rental is there for your car rental needs. Make life easier, relax, and get on board with Western Nebraska Regional Airport.
I imagined retirement in a place where we could enjoy our golden years, where adventure and friendship are the only items on the schedule. The Garden Homes at Northfield gives us the luxury we planned for and peace of mind when it comes to convenience, safety, and comfort. We never have to stop and think about the day-to-day upkeep. We love to explore abroad, but most importantly in our backyard. So much to do, so much to see. Here at Northfield, we get the protection of life care, incredible tax benefits, and secured rates for aging services. It's peaceful, knowing that if our needs change, we'll be taken care of. And most importantly, that our kids will never have to make any tough decisions. There never seemed to be enough time to do all the things we wanted. Now we get to focus our energy on enjoying what this community has to offer. At the Garden Homes, life is ours again. A place we had dreamed about. A chance to focus on us.
This is KNEB.TV Ag News from the Scottsbluff Body and Paint Ag Desk. Scottsbluff Body and Paint, you're driving home our reputation.
Welcome to another edition of Cattle Call. I'm Susan Littlefield. Cattle Call, by the way, brought to you by FNBO, the great big small bank. Well, we've got a markets. Is there concerns when it comes to what's happening on this cash? Kind of a steady, quiet type of midweek that we saw within the market trade. We know the Goldman roll is wrapping up today, but we also know there is very heavy cattle out there in the country. We've gotten some decent growing weather. We're going to break down that and a whole lot more in this week's report. As you see, joining me, Brad Koima. He is with Koima and Varlick out of Sioux Center, Iowa. And we're, by the way, broadcasting the National Association of Farm Broadcasting annual convention underway in Kansas City, Missouri. And I tell you, this cash this week, I think there was some anticipation, Brad, that we might have seen at least steady numbers. But now I'm hearing out in the country, there's some concerns that it might be to the lower side.
For sure. That's going to be the rub of the green here this week after last week's fiasco. I mean, $4 lower, that's a big sell-off in 1 week, right? I mean, I had gotten 190 for the 2 or 3 weeks before that. And then, having to grudgingly take 186 after that big future sell-off of last Friday. By the way, thanks for having me on. I would assume you're getting a couple of awards again this year. You certainly deserve to, in my opinion, as good as you are at this job. So thanks for letting me join on with you here. So if I could just back up just a little bit, Friday we had this a huge break in the boxes, right? $6. Now, since then, the box beat has stabilized. And in fact, in my opinion, I think the boxes are probably okay here. You saw the Chuck roll have a big break, get back into where more normal range of what those prices had been. And so now I think as we work through the holiday period here, once you get to the week of Thanksgiving, then you can start to talk about how are the middle meats and what are we going to feature for the Christmas and New Year's holiday. And that segment of the beef market, Susan, is in good shape yet. So here, as to your cash question, there is a little bit of 186 being sparingly bid in my neighborhood. That's what the market was Friday. So I'm a little encouraged by that early indication on a Wednesday here that maybe we can be steady or maybe a little bit better. The South, on the other hand, I don't know. There's talk of maybe some upgrading kind of cattle that didn't sell real good today in Kansas, but I think it's too early to really call the test. What they're going to get last week, they were 187. It would help, of course, our cause a little bit if we didn't have this weak basis. December cattle 184. So if you're hedged, you're probably a little easier seller than you would be if futures were closer to where the cash was.
Let's take a look then at the box beef trade, because I think it's been kind of all over the road as of late. Are we starting to see some possible stabilization in what we're seeing?
Absolutely. So to not to bore you, but so when you get kind of like this is your jam, like it is for me, you've heard me talk about price discovery in the live cattle market and how important I think, and a lot of us do, that we negotiate for cash cattle, right? If you want to have some more perspective, I just did the math for kicks here today. So the box beef at noon, which comes out at 11, by the way, I don't know why they call it noon beef. Anyway, I think they had 125 loads traded. Well, we killed 125,000 cattle. Roughly, we produce about 2,200 to 2,300 loads of beef every day, and we're getting we're getting told what the price is based on a ridiculously small percentage. So there's a ton of beef that gets sold formula. The vast majority of it does. So first of all, a little bit of a disclaimer on how that box beef price even is, whether that really reflects the bulk of the trade. But as I mentioned, the chucks were the main reason. The chucks had gotten very, very high, and some of that has to do with cow slaughter, and now they've adjusted back to what would be very average for what they should be worth. And now, as we move into the Thanksgiving deal, some of us are going to have a turkey one day, and then we're going to go back right to a normal deal. And in fact, the typical deal would be, I think the box beef is essentially bottom for now, and then when you typically get to the week of Thanksgiving, it starts to firm up because the next order is the feature in the grocery store is going to be a turkey, and it's not going to be a ham. It's okay. Let's get back to what are we going to do for Christmas here? A loin, a ribeye, a strip steak, blah blah blah. And of course, the hamburger demand is crazy, phenomenal, right? So I don't see that there's a demand, in my estimation. We've got a seasonal deal right now where often the market sells off. Going into that first week of December, everyone remembers, and maybe we should visit about that. Last year we had a big break in November, and often the futures traders' memory is about 12 months long. So there's that. I've heard it mentioned to me as well about, they go, well, the last time Trump got elected, in 2016, the cattle market was a wreck. And I'm going like, no kidding. That started in May of 2015. It was a wreck. It stayed crappy through almost all of 2016, largely because we weren't very current, largely, in my opinion, because the market changed in demeanor because the pit closed. And I don't know that it had anything really to do with who was president. So anyway, but so those are some of the the stuff that when people don't know what else to talk about, that's what we talk about, right? So at the discount that we are, it might drag the cash a little softer, but I don't see that there's a large supply of cattle. I wish we could take some weight off of this thing, Susan. That's the girl in the room. Weights were down a couple pounds last week, but they're still big. There's no denying it. Don't you think it's largely weather related? I mean, performance related?
That's what I was going to ask you. I mean, obviously, up until this point, into this forecast we're supposed to get next week, it's been ideal growing conditions for these cattle, and the feed's been cheap.
Correct. And yet, I think it's largely the growing conditions. I think there's two things. I think the growing conditions, and the second thing is that back to these formula trade cattle. The packer influenced cattle, the packer wants to have some grade, right? Look at the Choice Select spread. So I think some of the weights are bigger because the packer's telling their controlled cattle, hey, you know what, we're going to put a couple more weeks on these cattle because we want to try to get some more grade. And as a farmer feeder up in my neck of the woods, I sure don't see that, especially as we're finishing up this calf fed crop. when we were getting 190, well, even at 186, most of these cattle still work. I'm a little more worried when we get to these high price yearlings in the first quarter of the year, what that may look like. So I think it's a combination of the formula cattle traded being a little bit heavier, and then the weather being so outstandingly good. But that might change. It's rained here all day. There's a chance of some weather next week, and so we'll see how the winter starts here.
December 15th is always an important date on the calendar, not just because it is Brad Koima's birthday, but that's just kind of the marker that you use as you look at this cattle trade. And you talk about being a little bit short term on the cautious side leading into December 15th.
Yeah, well, thanks for the little birthday plug. You don't even look forward to those so much anymore when you get this old, right? But you're right. There's a interestingly enough, there's a seasonal on feeder cattle on one of my brother's birthday, which is April 23, which is a seasonal low time for feeders. It's but if you look at generally, if you pulled out your warning, okay, disclaimer, seasonals are not always, they don't always work, right? Okay. And it's taken a while for the seasonals to get straightened out after that COVID fiasco that seemed to change the rules on everything for a while. But generally speaking, yeah, we're finishing up all the calf fed cattle. So there's a lot of them. They're a little bit bigger than normal. Same thing we got this year. We go into a little slowdown in demand as we, come out of the grilling season. We go into Thanksgiving. We got a different feature, turkey, ham, blah, 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 going back to school. And so then the seasonal deal is, but then by the first week of December or so, things seem to change, particularly from a demand standpoint. Years where you start to get a little early winter, or the worry of a little bit early winter also will influence that. And so, yes, there's a very strong seasonal. Now, would that make sense to me this year? It certainly would, to be a little draggy here yet. Chop wood, as I like to say. In other words, maybe not get anything done, hopefully not break very much, but don't get much done to the upside. And then maybe try to reestablish it. But the key to the thing, part of it we can kind of control a little bit ourselves, and let's stay current. Let's stay current. Let's not give the packer that leverage back that he wants so badly. We'll go into I still think we go into the first quarter with numbers that are much, much tighter than they are now. And with a market with absolutely no premium, that's another thing, Susan, is there any incentive to overfeed cattle now? Not when the futures are this much lower.
Right.
So short term, that's kind of annoying because cash might not perform, but in the longer term, that's very, very positive. Continue to encourage these guys to sell cattle on a timely basis. So, be careful a little bit here for a couple of weeks, and then hopefully, when we get down the road a couple of weeks, I can talk a little more confidently about the market when it's uptrends.
Sounds good. So what's the best way for folks to get a hold of you, Brad?
KKVtrading.com will tell you a lot about us, or the phone number 712-722-0023.
All right, Brad Koima has been joining us for this week's Cattle Call. Quick reminder, commodity futures and options do involve a substantial risk of loss not suitable to all investors. And that's the Cattle Call being brought to you by FNBO, the Great Big Small Bank, right here on the World Radio Network.
Renewal by Andersen has done it again. Their incredible Black Friday event is back, and it's better than ever. But don't wait. Call and book today. Do not miss this one. You get 20% off every window, plus a Visa gift card for up to $2,000 right before Christmas. No money down, no interest, no payments for 18 months. Don't pay a dime until 2026. Call today. Act fast. This incredible offer only runs from November 15th through December 14th. Do not wait. Book your free estimate right now at rbawyoming.com.
Community Calendar is brought to you by Riverstone Bank. We're local and we love our community.
Changing leaf colors means yard work. Your friends at Tri-City Stormwater wants to remind you of the proper way to dispose of fallen leaves. Leaves make great mulch for trees and bushes and compost for future gardens. The city also has yard waste bins, so they can dispose of all your leaves at the city compost facility. Always keep your leaves out of the gutters. Not only do they cause clogging and flooding, they can pollute our waterways by causing nutrient overload. So keep your yard looking good and your drinking water safe, because it's our water, our responsibility.
You deserve to have a building that will last for generations. With more than 110 years of experience and thousands of satisfied customers, Morton Buildings is the industry leader you can trust. If you're planning for a garage, farm shop, horse barn, storage building for your RV, boat, or collectibles, there's no better time to buy. Contact your local Morton sales office or visit mortonbuildings.com to get started today.
Tired of feeling stuck? Not sure if you are on the right track? Platte Valley Bank can help keep your finances moving forward with checking account options to fit your lifestyle and an online account chooser to make finding the right account easy. Control your financial future with helpful budgeting tools and automatic savings plans. Now is the time to enjoy the ride with Platte Valley Bank. You belong here.
And finally tonight, Oregon Trail Community Foundation marked National Community Foundation Week by presenting more than $200,000 to 7 area nonprofits. This week, funds were announced for the Sears House, Diaper Depot, Capwin, 1113 Ministries, the Weekend Backpack Program, the Vine Church Sack Lunch Program, and Meals on Wheels. OTCF says there are still limited funds available from the Neva Mae Robinson Trust, which wishes for the foundation to provide a giving opportunity for charitable organizations providing food, clothing, shelter, medical care, and other benefits to low-income persons or disadvantaged individuals within a 100-mile radius of Scottsbluff. Charitable organizations wishing to apply for the Neva Mae Robinson grant can do so by visiting the foundation's website at otcf.org. Well, that does it for us this time. Thank you so much for tuning in. Have a great weekend. We'll see you back here on Monday.